for February 2020. We are here to do your updates for your psychic reads as well as any astrology I need to enter into the video. If I feel it's relative or any psychic downloads I've had, I'll be adding them. Now, yes, this month we do have Mercury going retrograde, so you may find that some of these things will relate into technology, communication, the way you're looking at things. We're also going to be having that happen, let me check that date, 15th. Okay, so it's going to be on the 15th. We also will have Mercury in Pisces as of the 3rd. Now that can be deeply spiritual in a sense that when it does come to, you know, all these aha moments and people from the past potentially coming back, yes, this can be relevant. We're also going to be having Venus in Aries, and that can be a very interesting placement. Really check in with the way you're operating, because we're also having Juno going retrograde, which is going to be in Libra. So those of you that are Libra, the way you're operating within connections and collective energy, really making very crucial judgments when it does come to our relationships, our contracts, our partnerships. And especially with the Capricorn frequency coming through, the way you're going to be navigating the matrix for those situations is going to be quite unique. Now, I will get into your reads, Zodiac by Zodiac. Yes, do look at your sun, moon, rising, and potentially even your Venus house, because at times, yes, because I'm a psychic medium, some of these energies may be playing in different aspects of your life, so it may directly relate. And again, I will say a very warm welcome and thank you for subscribing, sharing, and commenting. And if you do have a question, do place it in the box directly below and I will respond back to you. Into your read. Leo, we are here to do your update for February. As I mentioned before, I'm a psychic medium. Now, I've tuned into your energy over the last few days, and obviously we do have the moon in Leo, which is at the critical degree, and it's quite dark in here, and I have written the dates down, so if I look foolish leaning forward, I usually have it all on hand, because I'm tuning directly into your energy, not always the direct dates. It's going to fall on the 9th. Okay, it's a full moon. Now, it was unique because I hadn't really anticipated or looked forward in the astrology. I was really focusing on, you know, fine-tuning things on my end, preparing for my readings and preparing the technology. And the unique thing was, I decided not to go in a format this month, and I decided to randomly pick a zodiac sign, and it happened to be Leo. And then I meditated upon it for about 3 days, really to anchor my energy in, and I found it quite amusing because the moon is going to be in Leo. So, some of the things that are coming through will be happening at a collective, but very uniquely in your own house. So many downloads. Where would I start? So, a few songs came through for you guys, and I'll mention them off the bat. And this is really, in a sense of potentially what could be playing out in your life, or the energies around you, or even the way you are looking at things right now. Rat in a Cage, Bohemian Rhapsody, and one thing that stuck out in the very beginning of the lyrics was no escape from reality. Wanting to go bohemian, like wanting to, and I was like, okay, what's this relating to? And really a situation playing out that is very old. Now, the first card that did come out when I was tuning into your energy was very much relating into some things have not quite gone according to plan. And no matter what you've done to change it, to come to the table, it's remained the same. And it's been quite an arduous situation you've been dealing with. It may have been energies external, it may have been family-related dynamics, but no matter which way you've tried to deal with this situation, you've come to no solution. And anything you did directly try, it was still bringing the same outcome. And I'm finding in your own frequency, it has really frustrated you and it's left you without a clue as to how to proceed forward. And the main thing I really want to support you guys with and encourage you is that it does feel like an external energy that in this push-pull dynamic, and I don't feel this is something you're wanting to move towards. I feel this is more an aspect of you with other people, what you're moving away from. I do feel it's a huge integration in your own energy, and you're not enjoying that process. It's a way that you've actually outgrown. So it's nothing you want to keep in your life as per se, but potentially energies around you have an expectation towards you. and they're deeply trying to bring you back to that way of being. They also may be looking at you and thinking you're the same individual. And you're not the same individual. You have changed. And this really did come through with the Cancer zodiac sign last month, which was unique because, again, very similar to collective energy with the Cancer eclipse. Very similar energies, but then about a week we're actually playing out with that dynamic, where collectively people were looking at things and wishing to proceed forward, but it was like, you know, having that same, people really having an ego in a sense of, in the perspective, looking at things like they were exactly the same. And the only dynamic that really ever does stay the same is the sun and the moon, really, at this point, and even those situations are evolving. So in a frequency sense, potentially this dynamic has been playing out for quite a while. And it is getting to a critical level. And I do feel in the month of February, potentially a subject may arise where you're having to take the bull by the horns and actually deal with this head on. It can also be a conflict when it does come to balancing things in life. Very much, especially in your finances, I'm seeing you guys really wanting to, you're really learning from a lot that's going on. You've done a lot of work in 2019. This could even be in a very, very short space of time, where you've tried to bring things together really over the last 3 months. And now you're reaching a pause point in a reflection sense where you're looking at it and you're thinking, I'm not going to live like that again. And I do feel this is a huge decision you're making, that you're no longer willing to do certain things the way you did before. You got very bored with that, and I do feel, you know, even by pulling additional cards, and it's more the energy overall when I'm tuning into you, you're not wanting to, you don't want to explain yourself any longer. You do really feel you're having to explain yourself to a lot of people. It does feel like people are being quite manipulative towards you potentially, or you may feel that in an energy sense. It might not necessarily be that the people are doing that, but by the way, I'm hearing condescending energy. You may feel certain people are being condescending. You might, and again, energies can swap. This is what's coming through in a channeled message. But it can be, and I'm hearing actions speaking louder than words. So you're very intuitive this month, but you do need to keep grounded in order to keep that channel open. Now, as I mentioned in the intro video, there are some situations playing out with Mercury. Again, Mercury governs communication, and I think it's quite ironic that it's in Pisces, which Pisces is very similar to Scorpio in a sense of being intuitive. 12th house activation can be very spiritual. So at a collective level, it can be a time when you're getting a lot of downloads. You're actually really having your light bulb moments. And especially from the selective cards I have pulled, because I've already got the overall energy coming through in a channeled sense, that you're going to make some very crucial judgments this month. Now, I also am seeing it is affecting multiple areas of your life that you're trying to balance out. And this has been quite arduous for you guys. And, you know, you're 2 steps forward. It can feel like you're 10 steps back. And it doesn't have to be you directly are, but that's how you're energetically feeling. And it's just this push-pull dynamic with trying to balance things out that's actually getting quite frustrating for you guys at the minute. In your finances, I am seeing, again, really honing in on who the people are you want to work with, how you directly relate to them, and I'm hearing glass half full, glass half empty, and do you need to look at the situation differently? Now, I do feel with a little bit of time for meditation, because you do have the 2 of Swords coming up, is how you stand in your read. And the crowning energy for the general is the 7 of Cups. So, yes, very spiritual, definitely with the 12th house collectively, not connected to your astrology, but in general collectively. What you're going to find moving into February, you're going to be looking at things and saying, what relates to me? You know, okay, how many options do you actually have? Really breaking it down to a rationale and really testing people and putting the money where their mouth is. So it's not only going to be acceptable if it's just all talk and no action. And this goes to every person's side of the fence. It is very much, you know, the energy coming through with the Pisces frequency. I do feel that some things that are being hidden from you may actually come out. I'm also seeing, this has been something that's been coming up with a lot of signs at the moment. There is a potential for an aspect of conflict coming up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're fighting with anyone. But it may be where you actually step in and call it to the point where you've got to draw that line in the sand. For some of you, yes, it may be at that point. And I'm going back to a time in my mind's eye where something like this happened, and it's almost like an out-of-body experience where you're thinking something before you've thought you're doing it, which has been, especially tuning in, is like there's no time, there's action, and it's like having to step into a situation and deal with it to resolve. And I'm sensing there's an old situation that's going to be playing out this month for you guys. And I'm seeing potentially, no matter how you've dealt with this individual or individuals, you've found no solution. And any solution you've given or you've attempted to balance out, it's where energies surrounding this dynamic have really attempted to pull it to pieces. I'm also hearing too much time on their hands. Too much time on their hands for thinking, scattered energy, potential gossip, where they're not helping the situation. You know, really cutting to the chase and being direct is crucial. And we do need to be quite mindful during Mercury retrograde. You can tend to find at a frequency level, if you're in your awareness, you tend to operate within it better, and some things you can't avoid. So they do stay, you know, be careful with your contracts, etc. But you can't stop living. When we were in at non-awareness of it, life was proceeding. It just tends to be where you've got to concentrate a little bit more and really use a chart this month where you can write down the things that you need to deal with so you can keep on your A game. And it really is self-mastery. Another thing that's come through for you guys is it can directly be affecting your mindset or your health, especially with the 12th house. The subconscious mind, your day-to-day routine, things to that degree can be impacting other areas of your life and people's expectations. If you're tackling too much, I do feel you really speaking up about this factor and stating, look, enough is enough. This needs to be rectified. And I feel you're going to hone in on where these energies are. I'm also feeling you may call people out and give them a real reality check, and that's potentially where Bohemian Rhapsody comes from. And you're thinking, I think there's this juxtaposition between people's perspective on what you're living versus what really is happening. And time management, it's like, I'm hearing time is of the essence, but you don't really have much. It's like doing the best you can within what has been dealt on your plate, and people's expectations far exceeding your ability to actually give. And again, I am hearing jealousy. I'm also feeling if there's a situation playing out where, how do I put it? What you need versus another person needs. This can be an old frequency coming back into your life, and especially in romance. The one thing that was really playing out in my mind's eye for you guys was, as per se, wherever you are on the map of love, be it a mindset and you're tuning into someone and you're completely single, you're evolving and changing. So if you are potentially in a partnership and you're directly happy, I'm really not feeling that's the issue. I'm feeling the external factors are really the issue. I also feel you might not be saying as much to your partner because there could be something external yet again occurring. And I'm also seeing that your sleeping pattern from last month to this month is going to be very different. So I do feel you'll have a bit more energy, but definitely not for BS. So it's where you're trying to move forward, and I do feel the situation coming in, and you really not, you're going to be able to deal with it and really shut it down very quickly. And I do feel it's from the absolute necessity of you do have too much to do, so you don't have time for this. Now, the first card that has come through is the Seven of Cups, as I mentioned. And when we tune into 7th, there's very much a manifestation sense. Now, 7s are very positive, and obviously with your crowning energy in general, you're trying to actually think through various ways a situation can go. You're trying to pick the best way it can go. I am feeling for a lot of you, again, no matter how you've tried to apply yourself to it, I think you're in your awareness that you've done your best with situations, but things do tend to come out of left field. Now with this, it might even be where you're thinking, if this fell into place, this would be better. And you feel something's missing. It could be information. It could be, but it's hidden from you and it just doesn't make sense. Some people, again, I'm hearing too much time on their hands. Because you've come to the table in various areas of your life, I do feel the way people are directly projecting towards you is you have it all. But you also do have a lot of responsibilities, you do have a lot of burdens, and you do have a heavy weight on your mind. You also know that this can go many ways, so you're not quite sure how to directly apply to the situation, apply to the scenarios playing out. You wish things could go back to the way they were, but you absolutely know that they can't. And I'm also feeling, spiritually speaking, once you've reached a certain point, you absolutely know you can't go back to an old way of being. That's really torn in your mind at the moment. Now, some of you, again, and this does come up in your chart, astrologically speaking, especially when Saturn does go retrograde, it's going to be retrograding into Aquarius, and the aspect of your chart is relating into marriages, contracts, and partnerships, and you'll actually see these themes playing out in your life in February. Slight themes, but it's clearing out the old, moving forward, clearing out the subconscious mind, moving forward, and it is a bit like breaststroke. You got the Six of Wands in reverse. Reflecting back upon the past, you're actually reflecting back on where maybe you might have been standing in your way, where other people might have been sabotaging you, where people have directly betrayed you. Again, 12th house can really connect in with that. The things that are hidden from you, I do feel are really going to be shown. If you intuitively are tuning into a particular individual or individuals and you're getting a hunch about things, you're really guided to trust that right now. As long as you can keep grounded, I am feeling as though you're going to be open enough to see where people are coming from. I do feel you're quite nervous with the scenario that you potentially feel is going to play out. And again, with the Seven of Cups, I'm feeling this is it going to be the same? Is it going to be different? How do I directly approach this situation? Painting it how it could be really perfect and nice, but then again, coming back to the same resolve. And I do feel it's like this loop energy that you're going through in your subconscious mind, trying to find like the missing puzzle piece to sort it like it's completely yours. I do feel if something's not meant for you, it doesn't come back in that format. So I'm going to pull an extra card. Yes, for some of you, this can be a past tense connection. And there's two energies playing out. If this is a person you do want in your life, this will come back in a more balanced format. If you're currently with this person, I do feel an old energy that has not removed itself is coming back also. So in general, those of you that are super happy, I'm not feeling this to be an issue. I'm feeling it's more an external influence with a bone to bear. A Rat in the Cage, Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like really having to deal with some 3D realities of a situation. Now, your partner, for those of you that are partnered, might be looking at the situation. This can be on your side of the fence or theirs, because obviously we're tuning into the direct energy around Leo. Look at it from that perspective. Is it something that you need to rectify, or is it something that is another person's energy? And the only thing you can do is step back and allow that situation to evolve. Any advice for Leo? this did come through before as well. Now, overall for you, you are going to make major judgments this month, and especially with the Juno frequency coming through, marriages, contracts, partnerships, I'm feeling in general for you guys, you're really trying to look at where you're wanting to go. And while you got your eye on the prize in general, I feel it's beneficial, but there can also be, subjects of finances, subjects of, investments, and things to that degree coming up. But this is the person from the past, almost looking at you or this other energy as an asset over it instead of a human being. And this really isn't benefiting them, and it does feel almost in a chakra sense temptation energy. And especially with the other reads I've done tuning into yours, they're not seeing it this way. They're not understanding that this is what they're doing because they actually haven't worked on themselves. I do feel you guys are going to create a very healthy boundary. If this person is somebody that you're not wanting in your life and they're coming back and they're trying to stir up drama, I feel you're quite shocked by it all. And it's causing stress in the overall environment, and everything that you've worked hard for at a spiritual level, you're very, very fiercely protective of right now. And so for you personally, you're aware that you want your power back, and again, it's another 7, and I'm feeling you're really fighting for your spiritual sense. You're fighting for your ability to be who you are, for what you've worked so hard for. This person, I don't feel, appreciates it, and really can potentially manipulate situations. So whoever this person is, they're having to really, and I do feel them being quite agitated. So this can be a very, very direct person that doesn't take no for an answer, that is very frustrated and has a bone to pick with you or other individuals in your environment. I feel you're going to make a judgment. This can be, look, this is never going to be balanced, and I do feel you guys are going to move forward. Now, some of you may also have, again, with this being the Chariot, it can link into family. And I do feel potentially some of you are looking at your environments and your friendship groups, and you're really honing in on who you want to be with. This is really cutting a lot of situations out. Don't get too scared if you get to a point where you're down to bare basics. You're at your emergency pack, because I feel many energies through a spiritual awakening will go through that. But what you'll come to is actually having better people in your life, or allowing those people to energetically transform. And if they haven't energetically aligned themselves, you just won't attract them back. The situation calls for adaptability and innovation. Ingenuity. And again, I'm hearing Neptune, because it directly can connect with Neptune. But at the same time, Neptune in retrograde, I'm not saying it is, it can directly cause distortion of mind, sacral chakra. This is the energy this person's coming to the table with, and it is really mucking about, meeking about, and the way you're going to have to deal with this person. It might be you feel you've got to walk on eggshells around them, and it doesn't make for a very stable environment. You may have had to be quite adaptable towards it, and potentially a lot of you are getting to a place where you're thinking, I'm not going to do that anymore. This is something that you need to deal with. If you do, call me maybe. In general and love. Okay. 3 cards. Yeah, in general, love is great. Regardless of being single, what you got coming is great. Again, intuitive energies, psychic downloads. If you've had an owl around you, news is coming. Pay attention to the signs. Again, your intuition this month is going to be on fire. This is very, very quick movement. This is a person in your life or moving towards your life. I'm even seeing, and I heard this last month, and it was really odd. With the creative energy, if you're not wanting to get pregnant, be super careful. And this is collective as well. Especially with rabbits and other animal totems I've been seeing. The particular chakra I'm tuning into, yes, is about creativity, and you do have this in reverse. But again, with energy changing, this is the work of alignment you've been doing on yourself and the manifestation as per se. And you're moving away from certain targets and you're moving towards others. At the same time, this can also be a manifestation with the 7s coming through. once in alignment, you're more fertile. So I'm just saying, be careful. You've got to get ready for big changes, squirrel. Fertility. I didn't even look at it. It says fertility. There you go. Fertility. Rabbit. Rabbit, rabbit. Your creativity is at a peak. Be careful, please. Be careful. If you don't want a baby, giggle or laugh. Babies are blessings. Yes, that's correct. But they're also a responsibility. So, that's for us geriatric parents out there. So, owls are deeply intuitive. They also can be messages from beyond. This person's energy that is in your auric field is very connected to you spiritually, very in alignment. This is divinely guided. This is a person coming into your world, if they're not already, that is meant to be there. You guys have telepathic communication. You also have a world ahead of you. Even if you're not wanting to have children, this is a world you're going to create that is going to be magical. This is a person that is willing to meet you halfway. With this squirrel, very resourceful frequency, very much the energy of preparing. So again, I'm feeling very deep intuition collectively, and the intuition as per se, if you're getting a hunch that you need to move somewhere or do something, you really do need to be listening to it, especially with Mercury being retrograde. It can be a slowdown to actually look at these factors, and these factors are really going to benefit you moving forward. Last message of the day. You can't make this up. Be in your own energy. Yes, although your energy is coming through, like I said, very similar to Cancer, I do feel family-related dynamics, finances that you're attempting to get back on track. I do feel you're going to find some solutions and epiphany moments you're going to have to give you some hunches. Don't underestimate yourself, because you're coming through as the lion. You need to put it out into the ethers. Be direct, healthy boundaries. Yes is yes, no is no. If you need something, speak it. If that person is willing to do that, yes. If they're not, walk along. And I am really feeling for you guys in general, this is a different Leo. You are going to be a different Leo by the end of the month. And I do feel any fine-tuning like an instrument, especially since you had 3 songs. It can be also third-party energies of interference. I'm really assessing characters for who they are. I'm also feeling a lot of balance with a new tribe. Some of you this month, especially with the 2 of Swords coming through, I feel you might be blindsided at the same time, but you're also very intuitive. So, you know, when your eyes are closed, what is your soul telling you? And the 2 swords are there in a balanced sense, and Juno is in Libra. So it's with the moon energy, looking at things. And the new moon is going to be in Pisces by the 23rd. So again, more spiritual downloads, more psychic downloads. It can be a romantic time, but also look at it, especially with Juno retrograde, a bit similar to a Venus retrograde. So potentially you could be on your A game, and old people that you cut off might come back out of left field. Because when Juno goes retrograde, it's old contracts, and potentially if you did end anything last year, some scenarios can be coming back. Those potentially for some of you can be ending a cycle, beginning a new one. So starting that new chapter with individuals. For others of you, it can be old energies directly coming back with a B and a, yeah, B. And you're going to be like, yes, no. Not maybe so. Love and light. I'll see you on the other side.